afternoon, good evening to those on the East Coast, Midwest, Dirty South, man. What's happening with y'all? Salute, salute, salute. How y'all doing, man? It's your boy, the real E-Leezy. You know what it is. Hope everybody having a blessed day. I hope everybody had a good week thus far. We got one more day. You know what I'm saying? So hang in there. Hang in there. I just want to, give a little recap. Make sure you hit the thumbs up upon entering. At your own discretion, at your own leisure. Just recapping NBA opening week, opening night. Last two nights. Mixed reviews. I thought the competition was good in some games, and then other games it really wasn't a competition. So, a couple blowouts along the way. You know what I'm saying? So, just trying to get a feel for what teams are trying to do what and how they're trying to position themselves for maybe the Cooper flag draft. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird because I just feel like I want every team to put their best talent on the floor, and I want every organization and every coach to try to do everything that they can in order to win every night. And if you just happen to be one of the weaker teams in the league at the end of the season, then there you go. Cheyenne, what's good with my guy, man? At the end of the day, then that's the team y'all fighting for, who's going to get the number one draft pick. But losing on purpose and not putting the best team out there and not coaching to the best of your abilities and the players not taking accountability and playing to the best of their abilities, I don't agree with that level of competition. That's not competition at all, to be honest with you. It's just you're out here really just lying to the people. Like, you know what I mean? You're out here showing all the young boys and girls how to not approach their, their job and their workplace in any, shape, form, or fashion. There's a lot of teams that really didn't do anything to get better. The player development is not really that good in those respective organizations. We all know who they are. We don't need to name them. But I feel like everybody has an obligation. Everybody has a responsibility to try to get better on every level, whether that's coaching, whether that's being a CEO, a general manager, a player operations, player development, assistant coach, head coach, associate head coach, and all the way to the players. Like it's your obligation to try to get better. These franchises that just don't know if they're trying to get better. It's your obligation as a player to try to get here. If you are a player that has battled injuries and it's your job to control your diet and get better. Like, that's your obligation as a player. This is your job. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's your duty to make sure that you have all the right training and tools that you need in order to do your job effectively. And in this case, training your body, coming in with the right mentality, your work ethic, all of that is conducive to the tools that you need in order to go out there and do your job effectively and efficiently. You know what I'm saying? And safely at the end of the day. It is sports. Things happen. That it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you can't keep coming up with the same excuses. We can't keep giving these players the same passes who's injured year after year, but they want to get max contracts. It's just like, that's like a contradiction, bro. You say you're worth $200 million, but you can't play 81 games in any one of your seasons in your entire career. It just makes no sense. But then we want to rank these players as, 4, 5, top 10 all time. It's just like where? There's no dedication to their craft. You know what I'm saying? There's no dedication to their craft. It's so easy to do whatever you want in an NBA game today because there's no defense. Nobody's getting up into people physically. And I just want to highlight the LA Clippers. When I watched the LA Clippers play last night, it was refreshing to see them play an old school style of basketball. They were physical at the point of attack. They were up in you. They made Phoenix work. You know what I'm saying? At different parts in those games, work for everything. That's the kind of level of competition that you would want to see on a night in and a night out basis. Like, real talk. And I attribute that to Jeff Van Gundy, old school coach. Coaching those eras. You know what I'm saying? Where it was a lot of physicality and hand checking and all that. There wasn't no freedom of movement. There wasn't no pace and space. There wasn't any of that. We had to really be good. You had to really go out there and showcase every night, you know, that I'm one of them dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Van Gundy, he's been around, and I attribute that to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But to highlight that game, I would like to talk about the Clippers and where they need to, point of areas that they need to address and things that they can do differently if they're going to stick with Ty Lue. Ty Lue, to me, is an overrated coach. In my opinion, I know he understands the game. He's been around the game. He's been around people who know the game. But it's the difference between you leading your team, you know what I'm saying, and then you being an assistant coach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is not meant to be a head coach. And sometimes it just is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to have the right things happen for you in order to be a successful head coach in any sport. You gotta have the right assistants, obviously, and you have to have the right player personnel. But then there are some coaches who just know how to develop talent. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really counts, is the coaches that know how to develop talent, the coaches that know how to make adjustments to the adjustment. See, in any sporting event, especially basketball, it's a never-ending game of chess and making adjustments. You have to be able to know how to make adjustments. You have to be able to recognize angles or use angles. It's like mathematics, bro. So when Kobe came out with his segment called Detail, he would go to the telestrator, the video, and he would illustrate how you're supposed to go about, you know, putting yourself in position to do certain things according to how the defense is playing you. And that's why I always thought it was so important just to get inside the mind of somebody like a Kobe Bryant. What are you thinking? What are you seeing in this situation? What are some areas where I feel like this player can attack differently or do this based off of what the defense is doing? Those are the things that really count. It's the details of the game. And I don't think everybody has a mind and an eye for it. Like, to be honest with you, when I pay attention to a game, I'm watching and paying attention to the details, positioning, body language, tendencies. It's just not about having talent, because everybody has talent, or they wouldn't be in the NBA, or they wouldn't be a professional athlete. But you have to understand the details of the game. And yesterday, watching the Clippers, you have a young core squad, right? A young core. You got a young talent that deserves to be on the court at different junctures in the game. There are different things that you can do to help preserve a career of like a James Harden or a Norman Powell. But if you're relying on a Norman Powell and a James Harden at this stage in their career to carry you while one of the best players in the NBA is injured, then that's a recipe for disaster. Because we know that we're going to get James Harden, who's a high volume shot taker. He's older, more prone to injury, and he's flawed in certain areas as far as him being able to do things offensively, right? Not really a great post player, not a 1-2 dribble pull up. You know what I'm saying? Can't shoot, turn left, right shoulder. It's certain things that he can't do, which limits your team. That hurts your team. So if he's just not on to where he's making everything, all the step backs and all of the things are happening right for him, then you really have no shot. And even with that, it's still difficult because there's junctures of the game where he's only looking for a couple players, either Norman Powell and or Ivica Zubac. And I don't feel like you have to be able to use all of your team. Derrick Jones Jr. is a reliable outlet on the Clippers. Can knock down threes. He's athletic. He can get out in transition. He's a lob threat. And you know he's going to give it to you on both ends of the court. You have to be able to use him in certain situations to put pressure on the defense. Whether that's hitting him for a spot up wide open jump shot, or hitting him on a roll or a backdoor cut, you know what I'm saying, to the basket, or in transition too. Like, you have to be able to just not just zone in on people you're comfortable with, but zone in on trying to make a mix match every time you come down the floor. What are areas where I can use Chris Dunn? Chris Dunn is capable of knocking down a spot up jumper, but Chris Dunn likes to get into that paint. So maybe find him on a little, some curl action. You know what I'm saying? Run the big to where you can get Chris Dunn. Have your 4 or 5 guys set that little pick at the top, right there at the mid free throw line. You know what I'm saying? At the right there at the free throw line, extended at the free throw corners, and then get some curl action, because what that does now, the defense, they have to honor the curl action with Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is capable of getting to the rack or shooting a little floater. But guess what? That defensive person, depending on how you set that screen and how much body that you really, and the space that you create with setting that screen, now the opposition has to pick their poison. Do I stay or do I help? And if I help, now guess what? You either got Zubac, man, who's going to help on that curl action, because Chris Dunn's guy is either going to be trailing him. Normally, the times you try to fight over the screen. So if you try to fight over the screen, you're going to be put in a situation to now you're trailing that guy. You're trailing, right? So if he's trailing, that leaves Chris Dunn wide open. I got a one-on-one matchup here. Now, if the wing player decides to try to take that away from Chris Dunn to provide support and help for Ivica Zubac's guy, that means you leave somebody wide open in the corner as a shooter. So now I got options. I can shoot the floater, or I can duck it off to Zubac and he can get a bucket or swing it on to the next guy if he draws the opposite wing into the paint. Or I can kick it out to the wing for a wide open shot. It's just simple basketball. But if you don't use your player personnel, you will never be able to create those type of advantages and mismatches during the course of the game. Now, if you're just looking, okay, we're going to try to get Norman Powell a bucket. I don't want Norman Powell being the guy that's initiating offense. Norman Powell is better suited off of the catch and shoot. And then if it's a hard closeout, then he can use his athleticism and quickness to get downhill and maybe get into the paint. But if you put Norman Powell in a situation to where he has to take 4 or 5 dribbles, that's not a high percentage offensive set. You know what I'm saying? For a guy who's not used to playing like that. You get what I'm saying? He's very uncomfortable when you have to put him in a situation where he needs to pound that ball on the ground. That's not his game. Norman Powell is a high flyer, athleticism. He's normally like a quick, he's real quick and decisive with what he wants to do. If you get Norman Powell to where he has to think what he wants to do, you're not going to have any success. You get what I'm saying? James Harden, they know what James Harden wants to do. He wants to drive and get all the way to the cup, or he wants to do the dribble step back 3. So they're playing him on his left side because he likes to step to the right and get his step back 3 off. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they're playing him into that shot. That's a low percentage shot. Because this isn't the Houston Rockets James Harden. Think about it. Ty Lue needs to play his younger core. Kevin Porter Jr. can create a lot more wide open shots for Norman Powell and or Amir Coffey and James Harden. I would want James Harden to conserve energy instead of dribble. I might need you in the 4th quarter, James Harden, when the game is on the line. Like we seen last night, he had 8 turnovers because he was doing too much. His usage was too much. They put him in position and thought that he was going to be the James Harden of the Houston Rockets. You don't have that James anymore. Let's just be honest. You just don't have that James Harden. You feel me? So they put James Harden in a position not to be successful. And that's the problem. That's the problem that I'm trying to explain to everybody. You're putting players in the worst possible position to help your ball club win games. You got Bones Highland on the bench. Why are you just tucking him away? You got Kobe Brown on the bench. Why are you tucking him away? You got Kai Jones on the bench. Why are you tucking him away? You just went back and re-signed Nicholas Batum. Why are you tucking him away? It just doesn't make any sense. Bones Highland is capable of going to get you a bucket. Kevin Porter Jr. is capable of going to get you a bucket. Putting pressure on the defense. They're younger. They're more energetic. You know what I'm saying? They're more passionate. They're skilled. Why would you keep all of that luxury on the bench? That doesn't even make any sense. Oh, man, he's young. He doesn't really know our offensive set. There's no camaraderie. Well, get him off your team then, bro. Use your players. That's what they on the damn team for. Use them. You mean to tell me that Bones Highland can't do the same thing Tyus Jones can do? Think about it. Bones Highland can't do the same thing that Grayson Allen can do. Bones Highland can't do the same thing that Peyton Pritchard can do. I'm just naming not players that Sam Hauser. For God crying out sake. For God's sake, real talk. The Boston Celtics have the audacity to play Luke Cornett. Guess what? Luke Cornett helped them win a championship. Because why? He got playing time. In key situations, certain moments, he'll come in the game and give you an energy spark. Luke Cornett is somebody that's getting paid because he knows what he's good at. He's just playing a particular role. Now in college, Luke Cornett used to shoot threes. People don't even know that. Luke Cornett has the size. He's going to give you hustle. He's always going to fight and get in position to try to keep offensive rebounds alive. He's going to tip balls out. He's going to duck in and get those little putbacks, the little, you know what I'm saying, quick shots around the bucket. Because they're using him. They're using their players. If you want to be a successful team, use your players. Don't just tuck people on the bench. There's too much talent in the NBA for you to just be sitting them on the bench. It makes no sense. You're relying on guys that hasn't been reliable as number one and number two options. At this juncture in their career, they're not the same guys. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. Hold on, y'all, real quick. So, salute. Can y'all hear me? I'm back. Yeah, so we back in action. But yeah, if I'm the Clippers, at this juncture, strength by numbers. Strength by numbers, just like the Warriors were strength by numbers, they used most of the players that they had on their roster, and everybody contributed into winning, bro. You got to use your team. Bones Highland is capable. I promise you he is. Bones Highland is capable of lighting it up and getting you 25 to 30. Real talk. I don't want to talk like you don't have a system, so don't say, oh, he doesn't fit into our system. Because guess what? Bones Highland can do the same thing that James Harden can do. Just give him an opportunity. Kevin Porter Jr. can do the same thing that James Harden can do. And Norman Powell. They can do the same thing. You got all them damn guards playing, bruh. Kobe Brown. He's going to play defense, give you hustle, knock down some open shots. Play the guy. Like, James Harden is not that dude. He's not going to lead you the way you want him to lead you. He's just not. The rest of the league has caught up to him. The referees is not going to keep giving him all them calls. You see his productivity had dipped when he's not shooting like 12, 14 free throws a game. because he tricked the referees into calling him fouls. They're not giving him those same calls. And Zubac is not somebody that you can throw the ball into and let him initiate offense for 60% of the game. He's just not. He's going to be able to score, you know what I'm saying? But he needs somebody to create the shot for him, to make it easier for him. But he's not somebody you just get a ball to and let him back you down and he's going to hit you with a ton of moves and then he's going to create the shot for somebody else. He's not that kind of big. You got to know how to use your players, bro. And I don't think Ty Lue does a good job of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's the reason why they ended up ultimately losing, because they squandered a lead. But if you think about it, they built that lead when they had some of the younger talent on the court. I seen Chris Dunn out there. They was up like 8 with Chris Dunn on the court. And then you sub Chris Dunn out and you bring a non-defender in and Norman Powell. Norman Powell isn't playing top-level defense, championship-level defense. He didn't really play championship-level defense in Toronto. You might have thought he did, but everybody else was so good defensively, and that team was so good defensively that it made him look better than what he is really as a defensive player. We always knew that he can shoot and he was athletic, but that doesn't mean that you can play defense. See, defense is all about a mentality. It's all about effort. Who wants it more? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to sacrifice a part of my game to play defense? Because offense is the easy part to any sport. But can you get stops? That's what it boiled down to. And for stretches of that game, the Clippers were able to get stops because I believe that they have the principles set in place and the players to be the best defensive team in the NBA. And with under the right leadership, I believe that they can, accomplish and achieve some good things. I know they can. Not that I really know that the Clippers can be so much more than what everybody expects them to be without Kawhi Leonard. But guess what? You do it by committee. You know what I'm saying? Just because you lose Paul George and Kawhi Leonard injured, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to have the same level of success. It just doesn't. It's your leadership. Are you putting the players in position to be successful? Are you doing it together? Are you building team camaraderie? Are you putting people in the right spots? You know what I'm saying? Are you running the right sets? Are you seeing the right things on the court where you can make adjustments? It's a whole bunch of different things that go in, aspects that go into, being a really good basketball team. And you're a team. Of course, every team has a star player and the player that's like considered the best and can do certain things. But guess what? You got other players too, but you have to have trust and faith in their abilities. And that's the one thing that's going to hold the Clippers back unless they make a coaching change. And that's why they hired Van Gundy. They hired Van Gundy for that reason, because they know the team that they're building around Kawhi Leonard, minus for Paul George, is the team built for success when it counts. High character guys, high IQ guys, talent, skilled players, size. And I know Mo Bamba didn't play, but you know what I'm saying, as he's trying to work his way back from injury, but you got to look at the totality of things. If Ty Lue is just going to sit on his old horses and think that he has Kyrie and LeBron in Cleveland, you know what I'm saying, to just go out there and go, my turn, your turn. Norman Powell and James Harden isn't a my turn, your turn type of players, bro. I'm like, what are we doing? You got to have an IQ for the game. You got to know what people can do. You get Bones Highland, and then you already know Bones Highland is the energy guy. If Bones Highland hit a 3 or hit a couple shots, you know he going to start talking. He going to be engaging with the crowd, getting the crowd into it. And once you start getting the crowd into it and then you feeling good, now you saucing and I'm doing this. What? You don't know that? That's energizing for everybody else. Just to have that. But when you got motherfuckers on the court that's just dry, no personality, you know what I'm saying? Just da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? Turn the ball over, don't sprint back on defense to try to get the ball back. Come on, man. What are we talking about? And you want to be a championship level team, bro? Come on, man. Come on, hey, Big Me. Salute, Big Me. Big Meech. Big Meech, what we call that man? Brick Ross? They say I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover. Brick and jumpers. Hallelujah. One nation under real niggas hella trash on the boulevard. That man crazy. He called that man. He called that man Brick Ross. Come on, cuz. I'm using that one, cuz. That shit is hella funny. Y'all niggas is crazy, bro. They had a shot. They had a shot, man. I'm pulling for the Clippers and I'm pulling for Houston. I want the Clippers because Clippers got their stadium. They got real fans, like real Clipper fans. It's real people that support Clippers. And then you got other people that just want to be in the building because it's a new state-of-the-art arena. It's so much different in fan engagement and, you know what I'm saying, from a structural standpoint, it's something new. So you're going to see a lot more people want to be in that arena. They're going to start stealing the Lakers fans and the Lakers hopefuls, like real talk. Yeah, that's facts. But the Clippers can do some special things. And I already know they got Van Gundy. They got him for a reason. The Clippers are going to be one of the better teams, but they have to do the things that I'm advising them to do. Real talk. Oh, yeah. Steph, we own them, cuz. Come on now. Come on, bro. Crazy. I already knew that he was going to miss one of them free throws. I'm like, this made too much pressure for James Harden, bro. He ain't never been in a position where he got to hit game-winning and game-time free throws in the magnitude that it was, opening a new arena. The dude was pressing all night. He took a high volume of shots to get his 29 points. If James Harden, they need to use James Harden as a catch-and-shoot guy. Real talk. And then every so often, maybe let him, create. But I don't want a high volume of James Harden trying to create. I just don't. Because the more energy he exerts on offense, the less energy he's going to be able to give you and provide on the defensive side of the ball. And your team is built around defending at a high level, a championship level. So if you don't get that type of engagement from your best player on that side of the ball, that means his offensive usage is too much. James Harden only been a good defender at one juncture in his career, and that was his first couple years with OKC, because that was the only way that he was going to be able to get on the court, was play defense. James Harden was a way better defender in those OKC days. His offense developed as, those years went by with OKC. He became a better offensive player. He always kind of had that in his package, you know what I'm saying? But we seen it like really flourish when they gave him the keys. When he really flourished, in Houston. But then we looked at the style of play and like, okay, yeah, he's putting up great numbers, but this style of play isn't conducive to winning championships. You know what I'm saying? Because he was limited in some of the things that he would be able to do. And then tricking the referees into giving him a lot of foul calls. We don't get that James Harden anymore. So you can't use James Harden as somebody that's, okay, I need you to have a ball in your hand for majority of the night, James Harden. I need you to be the creator, and I'm going to need you to play some defense. The less you use James Harden on the offensive end, the more you're going to get out of him on the defensive end. And that's a fact. James Harden is still a real capable and knockdown three-point shooter, but if he has to work for those shots, at this stage in his career, I don't want him to work for them shots. So you have to treat James Harden kind of like a Carmelo Anthony role at this juncture. Not saying that James Harden can't go get a bucket, but it's not going to be effective throughout the course of a game. See, Carmelo was a you can give Carmelo the rock and he can go get you the bucket, because you know why? He got a face-up game, he got a mid-range pull-up, he got a 1-2 dribble pull-up, and he got a post game. So it worked. And the reason why I made that correlation and that reference to Carmelo, because they changed Carmelo's role. They took the ball out of his hand just so Carmelo can stay on the court. They say, okay, we're going to use you less on offense, because we need your offense on, you know what I'm saying, for our ball club to be successful. But the only way we're going to get your offense to be highly efficient is if we use you less of a workload and responsibility on offense. Then that way you can stay on the court by playing defense, because ultimately they wanted Carmelo to play more defense. You know what I'm saying? So they said, we're going to use you on offense because we need the high efficiency and we need your skill set on offense, but we don't want you to do what you were doing in New York and in Denver. And then if we use you less on offense, you should have more energy to give us more on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have to use James Harden in that type of role as maybe a catch and shoot guy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm letting Bones Highland, and Kevin Porter Jr. kind of running the show, and Chris Dunn. I'm going to that, and Amir Coffey. Real talk, y'all. I'm letting Bones Highland, Chris Dunn, and Kevin Porter Jr. be the guards that can go get you a bucket and create for their teammates. Real talk. I know people might be like, nigga, hell no, blood to this dude don't know. Trust me, nigga, when I tell you shit, bro. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Nigga, this is what I do. Basketball, all the sport, nigga, I'm just connected to it in a different way. Because it's all about the little things and the details of shit. You know what I'm saying? Making adjustments and doing this and doing that. I'm looking at it from a deeper, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it from a way deeper scale. But at the end of the day, they have to allow these players to be competitive. They have to allow these players to play. It's a lot of politics and why certain players don't play and all of that stuff. It's too many politics into it. All the propaganda, the agendas out here, man, check this out. Fuck all that shit. Go out there and compete. Do everything in your willpower. Fuck all the TV deals, the endorsement deals, the contracts. Go out there and compete for every inch. All of that other shit will take care of itself. You're a competitor at the end of the day. You have a job to do. I don't want this guy to score, and I need to go score a bucket on him. Be aggressive on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, what happened? You said, Aaron? Yeah, Jaylen Brown was 5 for 15 in threes. Just think if you took less threes, drove to the basket, maybe created some contact, got to the free throw line, Houston would have won the game. I don't want my two guard taking 15 threes. And Ime Udoka know better. Because guess what? You come from Greg Popovich's coaching tree. You feel what I'm saying? Greg Popovich would never allow one of his players to take motherfucking 15 threes in a game. And he had Gary Neal. He had Brent Berry. You know what I'm saying? He had Bruce Bowen. He had Patty Mills. You feel me? Manu Ginobili. He had players that can hit threes. Captain Jack. Come on, man. You know better than that. I don't care if you my best player. Shit, you could probably count on one finger how many times motherfucking Kobe Bryant and motherfucking Michael Jordan jacked up motherfucking 12 to 13 threes. Like, it's a different type of ball game, bro. With his capability, shit. And I don't like to just, let's just shoot a ton of threes. Let's just shoot a ton of threes. Let's just shoot a ton of threes. No, you can go get hella 2-pointers, bro. 2 easy baskets, 2 easy mid-range, or 2 easy layups is more than one difficult step-back 3. That's low percentage, according to what the other 2 plays I just named. Get to the free throw line. Slow the game down. See, when teams make a run it's inexplicable for a team to go on a 10-0, 12-2. That's inexplicable. You mean to tell me that you can't figure out a way to stop the bleeding at all? You're just gonna come out here into their momentum. Think about this, y'all. Hold on, y'all. The NBA can't save the Lakers. They can shoot all of the free throws that they want, but their flaws and deficiencies and the hypocrisy and the propaganda surrounding that and it's a dark cloud over the organization. It just shows that they're really not that good. It doesn't matter what coach you put over there. It don't matter. It don't matter who you draft. It's a dark cloud around the organization. And they're trying so hard to hold on to the Lakers as being, one of the best franchises or the most marketable franchise. You know what I'm saying? They put them on prime time. They get all the TV games. But the Lakers they're not the same Lakers and not the same organization. You know what I'm saying? They're not the same organization that we grew to love over these last 4 or 5 decades. It's sad, bruh. Or three decades. 3 to 5 decades. They're not the same ball club. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I don't even care if they shoot 6 free throws. They still sometimes be getting blown out even with shooting all those free throws. So it just goes to show you that the NBA is really hurting their brand, trying to keep a team relevant in an unorganic type of style, type of fashion. Like, real talk, it's unorganic. Because why do you feel the need to try to keep this team relevant? It's okay if they're garbage. It's okay if LeBron is on a team that doesn't make the playoffs or that doesn't win. It's okay. Jordan went through it with Washington. He went through it early on in his career. You know what I'm saying? Kobe went through it. All the great players go through a period of time to where their teams aren't good enough. It happens. Old age, injury, it's part of the game. Power to get people to like a certain team and a certain player, you're hurting the brand. You're hurting the integrity of a game that everybody grew up to love. Now, motherfuckers don't even like basketball no more. They would rather go play or go watch a WNBA game or go play overseas or go to the Big Three than to fuck around and watch the shit show that the NBA puts on night in and night out. You got referees trying to control the game as if they are, you know what I'm saying, the law. You feel me? Motherfucker, you get paid to blow that fucking whistle on the rules of the game. If a motherfucker travel, if he push off, if he double dribble, if there's an out of bounds call, jump balls, you feel me? That's your job. Your job isn't to try to sit there and tell a motherfucker the type of player and the emotions that he can show and all this other shit. That's not your job. Then they added this dumbass review shit where they still get the damn calls wrong after you get to sit up under a motherfucking headset and a telestrator and slow the play down in fucking slow motion from like 7 different angles so you can get the call right and still end up getting it wrong. You're constantly looking up at the scoreboard to see time scoring situation because there's so much money invested on these players to hit their fantasy points and their numbers, and there's so much money on the point spreads of the game that you have to be in tune with all of that prior to the game. They're studying all of this stuff. They're being trained on how to rig these games up. It's been like that for a long time. Since David Stern. They understand what's going on. Because it's no excuse why a team that's way more talented than another team somehow forgets how to play basketball because there's so much money bet on this one particular game that you be like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if the Washington Wizards. I wouldn't be surprised if the Washington Wizards beat Boston Celtics tonight. It wouldn't surprise me. Boston on the road is 14 and a half point favorites. 14 and a half. So let's just think about this. You're 14 and a half point favorite on another team's home opener on their home floor. Can you imagine if they were in Boston, how much they'd be favored by? They would probably be favored by like 25. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. That's how these sports are controlled. These referees turn a blind eye to the bullshit. And then they open a motherfucking, a good seeing eye on some shit that they probably never even should open their eye on. You feel me? It's like, how you see that, but you don't see that over there? It don't even make no sense. You can't have selective seeing, motherfucker. You feel me? In a fucking Kansas City Chiefs game. The NFL don't even hide shit for Kansas City. That shit is in plain sight. Because you know why? They took one young, vulnerable, little hazel-eyed guy and Patrick Mahomes, and they stunk a finger up his butt. And that's exactly what it is. So now it's just like, oh, this is our guy. This is the new Tom Brady. And Tom Brady now starting to look like a chick. Every time you see Tom Brady, he look a little bit more feminine every time. Eyebrows arched. You know what I'm saying? Eyeliner maybe on and shit. He just looks super, you know what I'm saying? He just look weird. I'm like, man, they just turn niggas into females. But if you want success, guess what? You got to bend over backwards. If you want to have any kind of success in this world, your main objective in order to make that come to fruition is to bend over backwards and spread them. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. Why they say you can't show that? Hey, y'all, don't hide nobody's messages. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? You know, this is my channel, bro. No, I never said that it wasn't rigged. Hey, Michael, you right. That's why, hey, if you heard me on previous streams, I would say all of this shit is rigged. You just hope that it's rigged for your team. I've said that numerous of times. All of this stuff is rigged, bro. It's like, you feel me? You just hope that it's rigged for your team. You can't sit here and tell me that all these different championships, that the team wasn't bailed out in certain situations and the refs didn't help them and the league didn't help them because they want to promote certain people, certain organizations, certain cities, certain states. It's a lot that goes into, you know what I'm saying, somebody winning a championship. It's a whole hell of a lot of teams that's capable of winning, but the NBA knows exactly who they want to put at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it just might not be your time. It was perfect for the whole Steph Curry-LeBron rivalry. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Injuries play a part. Injuries play a part of it. But then great players and great teams ultimately do what they do. Of course they get help here and there. That's just the nature of the game, bro. You know how much money is invested on this stuff? So yeah, you're right. You're right, Michael. I never did say it wasn't rigged for the Warriors. Look what they did with the whole Kevin Durant situation. I still believe they could have won without Kevin Durant. They proved that they could win with and without Kevin Durant. But just look at how that situation played out, because why would you go get Kevin Durant and he's no longer on the team anymore? If it was about winning championships and cement your legacy, you know what I'm saying, in history books, why would you leave greatest thing that ever happened to you as far as winning? Why would you leave that? To do what? Like, what was your motivation? See, now you have to question the agendas. What was the motivation in coming to the Warriors? And then ultimately, what's the motivation from leaving a situation like that? Everybody in the NBA every great player, who wouldn't want to go play for an organization who ways putting themselves in position to win a championship? Think about it. Who wouldn't want to go play for that? Just ask yourself, who wouldn't want to go play with Chicago back in the day? Well, obviously, Magic and all the greatest, the other great players and leaders of their respective teams, they didn't want to take the easy road. So I understand that. Like, that's perfectly clear. But we're talking about in this era, because it's all about really just building a championship, like building super teams, right? You get 5 motherfucking all-stars on one team. It's all about building that. So you got to understand, JD Kid, what's good with my guy, bro? So, Michael, yeah, when your team wins, it gives you bragging rights to just talk your shit. That's all shit. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And just, you have to accept that. All it is. You know what I'm saying? And just, you have to accept that. But there's certain teams that I look at and I'll be like, they probably shouldn't win no championship. They had went through years of losing. Normally, that's the time frame. If your team, you draft players and you draft transcending players and players that's building your team for the future, you're gonna go through a period of losing before they allow you to win. That's what it is. That's sort of kind of like, that's just the way it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? And when the Lakers got Shaq went through years of losing, 3 or 4 years of losing. All of a sudden they get Kobe. They lost that first year. What happened? He comes back, they win. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a game. Because you got to look at everybody and their mama probably gonna be taking Dallas. From a I'm talking about betting standpoint. You got to always factor in betting, because betting controls the outcomes of all these games. So if you're looking at, don't look at who's the better team on paper. Don't look at who's this, who's that. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at it. Where is the money going? That's how you tell and dictate who gonna win. You know what I'm saying? So, because the money controls everything. You feel me? Yeah, he's the all-time leader in bricks. You know what I'm saying? So, he has the longevity stat. So if you think about it, LeBron is going to break every good and bad stat. He's going to break every good and bad record. Think about it. LeBron is going to break every good and bad record. Why? Because he wants it like that. Because LeBron is a longevity whore. That's all it is. LeBron is trying to create and narrate his own story. He's trying to create a false tense of reality, to be honest with you. The only way LeBron can create this fairy tale ass storyline that he has been doing for the last 22 years, he has to play as many seasons as they will allow him to play. Because LeBron didn't look great in game 1. He had a couple dunks. He hit a 3. But other than that, he missed a lot of his shots. He looked it old. Like when you put a body in front of him and play defense on him, he looked at it was a struggle for him at times, to be honest with you. It was a struggle. LeBron is just fooling everybody because it's just one big parade for him. The cameras are following him around. They're doing his sound bites. Everything is about money for LeBron. Everything is about money and story. That's it. Money, story. Money, story. Shit. If his ass play for another 5 years and he keep jacking up 10 threes a game, he ain't gonna break the scoring record. You gotta look at what's the motivation behind why LeBron is still in the NBA. It's not to win championships at all. It's not to win championships. LeBron isn't in the NBA to win championships. LeBron is in the NBA just so he can break records. That's it. That's it. Think about it. He's in the NBA, so people could be like, oh, here go another record. Oh, do you see? 45 years old. He's still running up and down the court. Who cares? What is he playing for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you still playing, dude? You know what's so funny to me? Think about this, y'all. Pay attention. See, you have to pay attention to what LeBron says. Watch this. Right, it's one big hoax. You know what it is. Watch this. The other night, LeBron said there were many nights, right? And he tried to tie this into him and his son playing together. But I'm like, okay, this doesn't even make any sense. There were many, many nights, right, where LeBron said, you know what? I've been out of my children's life at all their events and all their little things, and now I'm working, the man up above, I'm working with my son. Now we work in the same place. I'm like, bro, if you are still missing Bryce's and Nuri's all of their school things. You're in year 22. Why are you still playing? If it's about you being around your family and making up for lost time, which you can't do, but at least you can start fresh right now, you will retire so you can be at Bryce's games, so you can be at Nuri's performances and whatever she's got going on. You know what I'm saying? Her school recitals and field trips and things like that she has going on with her school. You will be present in the home to help her with her school and her homework. You will be there to support Bryce and everything that he's doing as a scholar athlete. You get what I'm saying? But what you're essentially doing, you're still missing out on their stuff while participating with Bronny, but also holding a franchise in an organization who's used to winning. You're holding them hostage. They can't rebuild organically because LeBron James is holding a dark cloud over the organization. If it was really about you making up time with your family and being present in the home, you would have said, you know what? I've done everything there is for me to do. There is no more convincing people that you're the GOAT. People are going to say you either are the GOAT or you're not the GOAT. Based on your body of work right now, there's nothing else that's going to persuade and get people to go. Because guess what? If he wins another championship, in that championship, it was rigged. So that's always going to be a dark cloud and an asterisk over everything he does. He's never going to win another regular season MVP. The talent level is too. You feel what I'm saying? He might be able to average a certain amount of points because guess what? He's big still. And it's easy to score in the league. So at this point, you don't have anything else left to prove. Like, you know what I'm saying? Steph Curry is obviously keep playing because he, one, takes care of his body. He's not a high flyer at the rim. If you look at the most athletic guys versus the guys that just shoot, the guys that just shoot are the guys that stay in the league and their careers last way longer than the guy who's always running, jumping, planting, changing directions. But if you got somebody who's just shooting, that doesn't take too much effort. Of course, you got to be in shape. But, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what if he's trying to keep up with Steph Curry, obviously, but he's older than Steph Curry. Steph Curry's a little younger than him. Steph Curry's 36 years old. So Steph Curry got if Steph Curry wanted to do this for 6 more years, I believe Steph Curry can do this for 6 more years because he takes very good care of his body, his work ethic, and then plus, guess what? You can use Steph Curry as just some that just shoots. You don't even have to put Steph Curry on ball. You can put Steph Curry off ball, and he can sustain another 5 to 6 years of doing this. So Steph Curry could essentially play until he's 42 too and play 20 plus years in the league. But you got to ask yourself, what players are you putting around Steph that's going to take over, that can lead Steph? And then what players are you putting around LeBron that can take over and that can lead LeBron? See, the problem with the Lakers, they still feel that LeBron can lead a team to the promised land. No, LeBron is at that stage in his career where he needs to be led. And the Lakers and LeBron's ego won't allow that to happen. It's either LeBron's way or no way, or the highway. It's either LeBron's way or the highway. Real talk. So, motherfuckers have to really pay attention. Well, a dark cloud, exactly. Right, that part. Right, that part. There's too many people that got rings on your watch, dude. So, you know what I mean? So that's just what it is. I'm just, giving you a little bit of insight, a little perspective. That's it. Everything is perspective. You got to put stuff in a proper perspective, because I don't think we put the things that's supposed to be put in the correct perspective, we always put them in the wrong perspective. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking at LeBron. Oh, he's the GOAT because he played 22 years. He's the GOAT because he got the all-time scoring record. He's the GOAT because he's the first one to ever play with his son in the same NBA game. See, that's the wrong perspective to have. Oh, man, you're just hating. No. Think about it. You're naming things that you can write a story on. You can really create a movie on all of those things. So that can be something that you can create for entertainment purposes, right? Think about that. All of the things that I just named can be something that can be glorified and be used to create more business opportunities, right? But now let's look. Okay. Does he have the most rings? Does he have the most finals MVPs? Does he have the most this? Does he have the most that? How was his game? Pull-ups. One dribble pull-up. Was he able to play effectively back to the basket? Could he turn left shoulder, right shoulder, and shoot the fadeaway? Did he have all the right footwork? You know what I'm saying? How was he in high pressure situations? Did he fold, or did he always excel? More times than not. You get what I'm saying? How was he as a teammate? How was he in the locker room? You feel me? Did he have good character? Did he stand on everything on his word and everything that he said that he was gonna do? Did he do it? You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at the totality of stuff. People just be saying anything, man. I be trying to put y'all on game. His longevity is a joke. They got a commercial literally of they have a commercial literally of the guy having a one-on-one basketball game with Father of Time. Can somebody tell me who Father of Time is? Who does Father of Time? Can somebody tell me who Father of Time is supposed to represent? Is this blasphemy? How can one moment you give praise to God, who allowed you to do what you do, who gave you the God-given abilities to do all of these things, and it was divine, and then you're mocking him by saying, I defeated you in a commercial. I beat Father of Time. Father of Time, as we know it, is God. That's where we get our time from. God made the heavens and the earth. Right? Think about this. So for you to thank him in certain speeches, not all your speeches, but certain speeches, he finds it conducive for him to give God praise. But then on the other hand, you make a mockery of God saying that I defeated you. It doesn't make any sense. That's blasphemy, bro. We know that LeBron worshiped the devil. That little triangle shit with the eye that he does. This shit right here, all of this shit, that's devil worshiping rituals and signs. Think about it. He has the boule tattoo on his body. He tattooed his body with that. So why would you mention God with anything that you're doing, dude? It's the total opposite with LeBron. And that's why I say you have to pay attention to what the things that LeBron says and does. It's always a contradiction. Every time he opens his mouth, it's just like, dude, like, I see why he has a publicist now. Every time LeBron James speaks from him, and it's coming from him, I'd be like, oh my goodness. You can tell, you know what I'm saying, when his publicists, they rehearsed on how to handle interviews and what to say. If you look at Bronny now, Bronny is a robot. Do y'all pay attention to Bronny? Bronny looks very like, he looks very like still. And he doesn't say too many words. He's just like his dad. He doesn't give you a profound answer. He doesn't articulate himself where you would think that he's thinking for himself. Everything is trained when it comes to LeBron. Everything was trained with him. It's like he's a robot, like a puppy. It's like they tell him certain things to do and certain things to say here and there, and then he tries to, say it to the best of his knowledge, but he really doesn't understand what the hell he be talking about. I'm just saying, does he have a high basketball IQ? Yes, we give him that. Is he super athletic? Yes, we'll give him that. But it just, when it comes to him just really being like his thought process being versatile, the dude is a joke, bro. The dude is a joke. I'm keeping it 100 with you. The dude is a joke. I'm not hating. I pay attention to this, just like the little stuff. And I'll be like, people probably didn't even notice shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Him on the bench praying. These niggas are controlled beings, bro. These niggas can't move, run, jump without their master telling them what to do. You feel what I'm saying? That nigga be on the bench in high pressure moments with his eyes closed, talking to the devil, because the moment is so big for him, it gives him anxiety. So his only way to cope with those type of situations is to close his eyes and start worshiping his devil. And then he watches The Godfather like 3 or 4 times. Right before, like in a game 7 situation, he'll watch The Godfather. What does The Godfather have to do with you going to play a basketball game? I mean, help me understand it. Why should I find motivation in a gangster mafia type movie where they're killing people, selling drugs, fucking these hoes? Where are you getting the motivation for that at? Just by watching The Godfather? I'm like, really? That's going to help you to play a game 7? Like, what are you talking about, dude? If you don't go out there and lace your boots up, nigga, and leave it all on the court for game 7, you don't need no motherfucking movie or no secret ass shit to make your ass go compete. Like, it just don't even make sense, bruh. Make it make sense. Yeah, he shouldn't even be in the league, bro. For sure. He's an evil human. Exactly. What's happening, Troy Angelo? I see you. Yeah, buddy. Hey, Buddy Love went off, man. You know what? And listening to Steph Curry talk, there was a dark cloud that was uplifted over the Warriors organization. Real talk. There was a dark cloud uplifted over the Warriors organization, and it's not necessarily Draymond. To be honest with you, I do feel like, Draymond time is coming to where they're probably going to have to get up off of him, but it's not because of Draymond. Klay Thompson was the dark cloud over the Warriors. Klay Thompson was the dark cloud over the Warriors. The chemistry was off. The team morale was off. Everything was off. It just seemed like Klay became self-centered, where he felt he was bigger than the team. Real talk. This is real talk. And Steph Curry, after hearing him speak last night,
The way he talked about Buddy Hield, which he never played with a day in his life up until this season, he talked as if Buddy Hield was a breath of fresh air and that Buddy Hield has been with the organization for a long time. Because you know what he said? He said things about, it's just, we're happy around here. Everyone's happy. You didn't hear him mention anything about the mood last year. And you can kind of tell, you can tell when a team's morale is off. You can tell when there's locker room tension. You can tell by the way they play, the way that they celebrate each other, the way that they're high-fiving, the communication, when people do bad or they picking their teammates up. There was a lot of games last year where the Warriors were losing close situations where Clay or somebody made um, the improper decision, a turnover, a missed shot, a bad pass, certain things like that. And you can just see Klay Thompson and Steph Curry will just sit on the bench next to each other with this real blank, frustrating look on their faces. Not even talking to each other, though. It's just them two just sitting there after games. And you'd be like, wow, something is off with this roster and this franchise. You can just tell. With the Warriors now, it's like they are re-energized. They bring in DeAnthony Melton, who never been around the squad. It's a culture. We are getting back to the same Warrior culture and the standard that we implemented when we first put that team together. You see what I'm saying? It just was a point in time where Klay Thompson felt like he was bigger than the team. Real talk. I'm not blaming Clay for anything. I'm just stating the obvious. This is out of Steve Kerr's. This is out of Steph Curry's mouth. When you listen, that's why you got to listen to the interviews. They'll tell you everything that you need to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I know you're happy because you got Klay, because you feel like, oh, Klay Thompson can hit threes. He can help us do this. It's more than just about what you do on the court. It's more about what you do off of the court and team building and, building that morale, the camaraderie, the chemistry. Klay Thompson is, you have to be careful with Klay Thompson, man. I'm telling you. And this is why. He's for sure first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm not taking nothing away from Klay Thompson, but those injuries did something to Klay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Psychologically, it did something to Klay. So, for Dallas, you have to pay attention. See, Klay Thompson is out to prove all the doubters and all of the naysayers and all of the people that didn't think that he can be the same Klay Thompson that he was that helped the Warriors win numerous championships. Klay Thompson is still trying to prove people wrong instead of just going out there and playing basketball. And that's a slippery slope. Whenever you're out there to try to prove everybody wrong, you're not focusing on the task at hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're playing free spirited and you just out there competing, the results is going to show. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when you out there pressing, like Jonathan Kuminga last night. Last night, Jonathan Kuminga tried to prove to the whole world why he's a $200 million max player. And look what happened. Look at the results. He was pressing the whole night, rushing everything he did, fumbling all of the passes, having bad turnovers, bad decision making. Everything that he did was wrong because he's sitting there trying to prove everybody right. Yeah, Clay finna play in a few minutes, but I was just trying to explain to y'all the psychology behind all of this stuff. It's just not about you being talented and all this stuff, bro. Look at what Joel Embiid is doing to his players. Look at what LeBron is doing to his players. See, when you're that dark cloud over an organization, you're not gonna have success. You're not gonna have the type of success everybody expects. You're just not. And it's hurting the franchise. Joel Embiid's situation with him over to Philly. And that's why I say I think Joel Embiid will get traded eventually, and I think he'll end up a Houston Rocket at some point in his career. But he's a dark cloud over that Philly organization. And if Philly wants to ultimately get better, you have to move on from Joel Embiid. Because you're probably never, ever going to get the Joel Embiid that you expect and that you want. Because he is egotistical and is self-consumed. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he believes that he's bigger than the franchise. Whenever you get players that they feel like they're bigger than the franchise and that they can't sacrifice a greater part of themselves and their individual success for a team success, then those are the players that you have to move on from. Guess what? Kobe Bryant had to learn that. See, Kobe Bryant was a raw talent, but he bought into the system. When they start winning championships, Kobe Bryant would do a lot of the things that he was asked to do from Phil Jackson. But Kobe Bryant wanted to be his own entity. He wanted to be his own, like, great player. Like, you know what I'm saying? He felt like they were holding him back because he had to follow directions and he had to do things that wasn't conducive to the work that he put into the game. But look, there's a caveat to that. When Kobe Bryant went from winning those 3 championships and then that 4th championship, right? Kobe Bryant admitted, I messed it up. And part of that, the reason why we didn't win, it was my fault. Right? He played a part in getting Shaq ultimately traded. It's just like Shaq played a part in getting himself traded. Right? But they ultimately chose a younger Kobe Bryant because of his work ethic and his skill set that they already knew that he possessed, right? And his mentality. But in order for Kobe to get back to those glory days, what did he have to do? And Kobe said it. He had to become a better leader. He had to learn how to bring people up. Bring people up. Think about this, y'all. Bring you up. And that's what a lot of these players lack. They don't know how to bring their peers, bring them up. They're a dark cloud over the success of the franchises. And it's going to thunderstorm on the franchise when you have that type of egotistical ass mentality. Once Kobe learned how to get the best from his teammates and become a better leader, what happened? He started winning championships again. And that's why the NBA was so fucking terrified that he was going to fuck up every narrative to exist for the rest of NBA history if they would allow that Chris Paul trade to go through. Because he would have surpassed Michael Jordan in rings, and there wouldn't have been this let's glorify Jordan shit. Period, point blank. It just wouldn't have been. So, I'm just giving you a little bit of insight. Don't think that Klay Thompson is just going to be, it's going to be magical. Bro, you're messing with a slippery slope there. You're messing with a slippery slope with this Klay Thompson and Dallas Maverick thing, but you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. They'll probably get past the Spurs, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs beat them. Like, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. So, we'll see what happens, man. My battery about to die. I just got to the house. I'm about to go up in there, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, unwind, get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Shower. And get ready to watch this game, though, y'all. But, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for stopping through, tuning in. I appreciate y'all, man. You just don't even understand, man. You know what I mean? This gives me life. The fact that I can come and share, my basketball acumen, my thoughts on certain situations and how I see things and stuff. That's, like, energizing for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's bigger than just doing this stuff for money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't do this YouTube stuff for money. Would it be an added bonus and would it help? Yes, it would. But, I mean, I can't be fake. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you 100% authentically me. Like, you feel me? Like, oh, you can't cuss. Oh, you can't use this word. Oh, you can't do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just like telling a comedian, oh, you can't talk about this. You can't joke about this. You can't joke. Well, I'm a comedian. You know what makes a comedian is that they get to be them. Like, you feel me? You either gravitate towards it or you don't. But you can't tell me, like, they want you to be robotic in today's world. Like, that's why they're creating all this AI stuff. Like, you feel me? Everything is automated. Because they get to program these little, you know what I'm saying, figures and all of that. And the figures are going to do exactly how they was programmed to do. I'm human, bro. I bleed. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else. Like real humans. I hurt like real humans. You can't put me and try to take my DNA and my character and put it in some sort of robotic ass figure. That's just, it's not real. That's not God. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful on what we worship, who we idolize, and things like that, bro. Like real talk. You feel me? But I appreciate y'all though. Oh, he never wanted to be a Laker? Well, they had the trade done, so I'm pretty sure Chris Paul would have loved to have played with somebody like Kobe Bryant because they kind of got that same competitiveness, and I'm pretty sure he wanted to win championships, which he would have won with Kobe Bryant. So, I don't think that he didn't want to play for the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? I just think that the NBA did some shady shit behind the scenes, and ultimately, you know what I'm saying, he ended up a Clipper. So that's just what it is, though. And he failed. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just what it is, though. But salute to everybody. I appreciate y'all, bro. You already know what it is, bro. Love, live life, smile, cry, and laugh, man. Real E-Leezy, man. I'm gone. Salute.